So welcome back to the channel. This episode is going to be pretty painful because in this episode I'm going to go through all the absolutely stupid car decisions I've made over the past 5.5 years of doing this YouTube channel. It's really, I'm hoping it might stop some of you guys doing similarly stupid things to what I did. A lot of the decisions were actually made by trying to grow the YouTube channel. And look, I just don't have what it takes. I don't have the charisma or personality to get a YouTube channel going, and it's never going to go anywhere. And so I'm still kind of doing it because I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy making videos, but it's never going to be like an income stream that's worth anything really, other than a few, beers every month. But I thought I would go through all the stupid things I did over the last 5.5 years, put them into one place, and hopefully it'll be cathartic for me and beneficial for you guys. So the channel started in August 2017. I'd always wanted to own a Maserati Gran Turismo. And I did buy a very good example from Scuderia Graziani in Sydney. It was a 2013 model, so it was only kind of 4 years old. It had only done 20-something thousand kilometers. It was really nice. It was that Grigio Granito dark grey colour. And I had a bit of a false start with it. I mean, the gearbox had a problem which caused it to break down, and so my first video was kind of sarcastically saying that it's in the, it's broken down already. That was my first video on the YouTube channel. So I wanted to use this channel as a way to dispel all the myths that surround Italian exotic cars, like unreliability and cost of ownership. So without further ado, I'm really excited to be able to show you my new car, and here it is. I forgot to mention it's actually in the garage. First day I got a clutch warning light, so it's having the clutch replaced. So I was going to be without it for 3 or 4 weeks, and while I was waiting for that to be repaired, I found this Mercedes CL500, the C215 variant from about 2002, and it was a reasonable price, and it was a gorgeous car to look at, and I thought, oh, this will be a bit of fun to kind of tide me over in a second car just to have on the channel. And actually that was quite a sensible car to buy, because my introductory video to that car, which was my second only video on the channel, is still one of my best performing videos with like 46,000 views or whatever. I have to say, I get an enormous amount of pleasure from driving this big old land yacht. It's actually really amazing in terms of the quality and the ride quality, the build quality. It's astonishing, really. So I guess that was probably the start of being concerned about, how the videos were performing rather than just enjoying the cars for what they were. I was more concerned about how the videos were doing. And the Maserati never generated much interest on the channel. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because there are too many of them, they're too old, they're not interesting enough. I don't know. So at the time that I bought the Maserati, I'd got a daily driver, which was an Audi RS5 Cabriolet. And again, that was a fantastic car. But I traded that in January 2018 for the original C63, Mercedes C63 AMG on the channel, which was black on black, and it was edition 507, So it was quite like a rare car. There weren't that many 507s compared to the regular C63. And so, yeah, at that time, I'd got the Maserati, which was fantastic, the CL500 as a kind of classic, and then the C63 as a daily driver. I should have really stopped at that point because that was a great collection to have. So here we are, just about to drive out with the C63. Absolutely fantastic, it's looking amazing. This is Henry here, just putting the number plate covers on. Great job. Mercedes-Benz Parramatta have done. Absolutely fantastic experience from start to finish. So the first kind of stupid decision I made really was in July 2018 when I decided to trade in the CL500 for an SL500. I think that I wanted the open top experience, which is fine, and thought that might be a good car for the channel as well, but hadn't really realised that the original CL was probably a far better car to keep on the channel. So I lost a bit of money selling the CL and trading it in for an SL500. I think you'll agree it does look absolutely magnificent. You'll see I've put the AMG wheels on, which just make it look about a million times better than it did with those daggy 17-inch wheels on. I've got the MGUY 3 plates on, and it is looking absolutely stunning. The next really dumb, well, I'm not sure if it's a dumb decision. I think this next car was probably my all-time favourite car on the channel, and I should have kept it, and I didn't, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So I think it was October 2018 when I was invited to a track day, and you know, this is the kind of stupidity of my thinking at the time, that I thought, oh, well, the Maserati isn't really a track car, you know, or something that you could take on the track. And so, you know, maybe I should be looking at a car that's, you know, more of a track-focused car, a bit more supercar-y, if you like. And I managed to find this Audi R8 V10, which was a fantastic car, and it was a beautiful, beautiful example. And I traded the Maserati and the SL500 to get into this Audi R8. So I lost a fair bit on the Maserati, and I lost a little bit on the SL500, and I got into this Audi R8. Here we are, first drive in the Audi R8. Oh my God, I own this car. This is freaking insane. Oh wow, listen to that noise. I really loved that car. It was a fantastic car. Beautiful to drive, great sound, great engine, performed beautifully. And then the really bad luck was that in November, I'd only had it like a month or 6 weeks or something, and our garage flooded and the car got flooded. And then it was away at the repair shop for 7 or 8 months, and I was without the car until, yeah, July 2019. So without any car, because the C63, the black C63 had also got damaged in that same flood, so I didn't have that car either. So it was that point that I I spent 10k on getting a BMW 740. Now that was just a stopgap car. It was a bit of fun on the channel. Again, completely not interesting for viewers. Didn't get any views at all. That was really just a practical thing, so I could actually have a car to drive. So I'm not criticising myself too much for that decision. It was more practicality than anything else. So this is my 2006 BMW 740i. Bought yesterday for the princely sum of 10,500 Australian dollars. What a bargain, eh? It's done about 180,000 kilometres. It's kind of getting run in now. And what do you think, eh? Pretty amazing. I mean, look at it. I mean, that looks like $1 million. Well, 100,000 or $220,000, which is what this would have cost back in 2006. But then in February 2018, I had another complete rush of blood to the head, and I'd got it in my head that I wanted to buy a CL65. There was one for sale at the time in Melbourne, and I decided to trade my gorgeous Edition 507 C63 for this CL65, which was, you know, 2008 model. It was a lot older. It was going to cost, you know, didn't even think about how much it was going to cost to maintain. It was fun. It was fun going down to Melbourne and picking up that car, driving down in the C63 and driving back in the CL65. It was a great kind of road trip weekend. And to be fair, that CL65 has been the most popular car ever on the channel. It's still my most viewed car by far. And yeah, it was a real unicorn. So maybe that wasn't such a bad idea to get that car, because it is unusual and, you know, did get a lot of interest on the videos that I'd made on it. There she is. Looks pretty special. It's just kind of starting to sink in now. So I'm going to try and find somewhere to park that I can actually pay with a card rather than having to find coins, which I don't have, and then get some lunch, and then we'll head off back to Albury. Kind of stupid decision was in September 2019 when I dropped about 50k, which I didn't have, on an SL55, another Mercedes Roadster SL55 AMG. Again, that was a beautiful car to own. It too was quite popular on the channel. It had a lot of interest. It was silver with a red interior and a really beautiful car. But again, it was old. It was 2002, and you know that things were starting to go wrong with it. It was just not the right decision to buy that car at that time, especially considering I'd got the CL65 and the R8. I mean, what a great combination. I mean, yes, adding the SL55 to that just kind of completed the kind of garage. You got a daily, which was the CL65. You got a kind of classic roadster, which was the SL55, and you got a exotic, which was the R8. Perfect garage. Leave it alone. Stop. Don't do anything. But yeah. So here she is. My 2002 SL55 AMG. It's in brilliant silver with red leather interior,
which I think is just the most amazing combination.
The next decision is probably the most stupid decision in my entire car history, when I was seduced by a Ferrari 360. Again, I thought, you know, the R8 was getting horrible views, nobody was interested in the R8 on the channel, despite the fact that it was a fantastic car to drive and I really loved it, blah, blah, blah. It had come back from the repairers. It was better than new. It had a completely new interior. All the carpets were new. All the electrics were new. They had to, you know, put in a new wiring harness, which cost $18,000 from Germany. So it was in spectacular condition. And yet, despite that, I was seduced by, you know, getting more clicks on my videos, and I thought, oh, if I get a Ferrari, that will probably, you know, give me some more clicks. No, well, maybe it did a bit, but not much. But the way I got there was just tragic. So I sold the R8 at a huge loss. I sold the CL65 at an even bigger loss just to get into this Ferrari 360, which turned out to be a complete nightmare, because within 3 months, I had to spend 40 grand getting the transmission fixed. I mean, the stupidity burns when I think back to it. It's actually quite embarrassing.
So this is my Ferrari 360. It's a 2002 model and it's done just around 50,000 kilometers. And in this video, I'm just going to give you a quick tour around it. I'm going to do a more detailed review of the car in the future, and I'll also be comparing it to the other cars that I've owned, including the R8 and the Maserati Gran Turismo.
So having sold my CL65, I didn't really have a daily driver, and so I bought through my work on a novated loan, or whatever it's called, novated thing, another C63, which again was a beautiful car in that gorgeous blue colour. It wasn't the edition 507, but it was still gorgeous. It had a beautiful cream and black interior, gorgeous blue paintwork. It was a fantastic car. Again, I should have stopped at that point. I had the Ferrari 360, I had the C63, and I had an SL55. I should have stopped at that point and just, you know, learnt my freaking lesson.
This is my 2013 Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG. I've recently picked this up as my daily driver, and I have to say it's fantastic.
So in February 2021, I actually was down at Classic Throttle Shop, which is in North Sydney. I was looking at a Toyota Yaris, I mean the GR Yaris. I mean, that was just a bit of a joke really, just having a look at it. But the guys said, we'll make you a good offer for your SL55, because I'd driven down in that. And I did, sold that car and made a tiny profit on it. It's the only time I think that I've made a profit on any of these purchases and sales. So yeah, sold the SL55 only to see prices kind of go through the roof in the next 12 months. So another great decision. So in May 2021, this was kind of one of the more sensible decisions I'd made. I think I didn't have a Roadster anymore because I'd sold the SL, and I thought it would be nice to have an old MG midget, and so I paid not very much for a 1970 MG midget, and that has actually been quite popular on the channel. I love driving it. Whenever I take it out, people kind of talk to me and I get admiring looks in the MG. It's a great car, and I've had that longer than virtually anything. In a couple of months it will be 2 years I've had that car. 2 years. I actually managed 2 years with a car. So yeah, that's still in the garage today, and I'm enjoying that. I sometimes think, you know, it doesn't get enough use, but then I take it out and I give it a blast, and I think, nah, this is fun. I'm going to hang on to this one. So here it is, the new addition to the garage, a 1970 MG Midget Mark III.
This is just going to be so much fun.
Just to have a little bit of a tinker. The Ferrari, you know, whenever you take it out, it's a big deal. It's a big deal taking out the Ferrari. Everyone notices. But this is kind of something you can just potter about. A little bit of fun. It's so tiny, so direct. And Keith, who you've just seen there, he has had this car since new. Bought it in 1970. And yeah, I'm the second owner. So next thing was in October 2021. I decided to finally get rid of the Ferrari. I just couldn't afford it anymore. It was stressing me. I didn't enjoy driving it. It didn't suit my personality either. I'm not kind of like loud and brash like that car is, and I just thought, no, I'm gonna cash it in and just sell it and be done with it. And yeah, glad to see the back of it, really. Another kind of line ball decision was that in October 2021, Phil over at Unique Motor Garage had this beautiful CL500, the new shape C216. It was a facelift version from 2011, so it had all the driver aids that the previous ones that I had didn't have. So I actually made a little bit of a profit when I sold the C63. So that wasn't such a bad decision to go for that CL500. It was a great car, really enjoyed driving it. But again, expensive to fix. I mean, you know, I had to do turbos, which, yeah, I don't even want to think how much that cost. And I also had to do, you know, ABC work. And it just got eventually too expensive. So February 2022, I really was missing having some kind of exotic on the channel and having one to drive. So I decided to go back to my roots and get a Maserati Gran Turismo, which again, this is still on the channel now. It's a great car, really enjoy it. It's beautiful spec. It's nicer, I think, than the one I had at the start. It's got nicer interior with Alcantara and stuff rather than the full leather. And I actually prefer the white paintwork rather than the kind of dark graphite. It's a little bit more striking in white. Yeah, really happy with that car. As you'll see from my recent videos, I have considered putting it up for sale just because everything is getting so expensive now, but I'm fingers crossed hoping to hang on to it for a bit.
I'm really proud to introduce to the channel my new Italian exotic. Yep, it's a Maserati Gran Turismo. Yes, it's the car that I started the channel with back in 2017. We're going to go for a drive. I'll explain a little bit about why I decided to go back to a Maserati Gran Turismo, and I can tell you a little bit about it.
And the latest really is that, again, the CL500 was just getting too expensive to maintain. So I have got that up for sale at Unique Motor Garage. It's still up for sale right now. As a daily, I bought myself this cute little SLK, which is, you know, it's a simpler car, easier to work on, not so many complex systems and, you know, suspension, complex suspension and turbos and everything. It's really, really basic, really fun, but, you know, fabulous car to drive as a daily. Flick the roof down and yeah, fantastic.
I'm really thrilled to introduce to the channel my new daily driver. Yay, it's an SLK 350. So back in 2003, when I first came out to Australia, I got an R170 SLK 230. That's the 2.3 litre compressor, supercharged engine. It was absolutely fantastic. I'll show you some photos of that car. Drove all the way from Adelaide to Melbourne in it. It was absolutely fantastic. Loved driving that car. And I've always kind of hankered for getting another SLK back on the garage. And I thought this was a great time to do it because they're really not that expensive now comparison to the CL500, which is, you know, phenomenally expensive really for what it is. And this is a 2008 model. It's the R171 version, but the really nice thing about this one is that it is the facelift.
So that's where we are at the moment. So we have the Gran Turismo, the SLK as my daily, and the MG Midget as my kind of classic. And that's where it's staying. It's not moving. I've had the Maserati for a year, which is great. I've had the MG for nearly 2 years. That's both of those kind of exceed anything else I've done in the last 5.5 years. So an absolute catalogue of king stupid decisions over the last 5 years, many of which driven by, you know, desire to kind of grow the YouTube channel, which was just madness really. But it's easy to get sucked into, to be honest. And I see other channels that have started, you know, much later than me, that have done so much better, and realize that, you know, you're either going to be successful in this or you're not. You've either got the right face for it or you've not. I don't think I've got the right face for it. So I'm going to keep sticking videos out as and when, but it's going to be at my time frame and not feeling the pressure to kind of put stuff out there and, you know, constantly grow the channel, because it just wears you down and it drains your bank account as well. So yeah, that's the moral of this video, if there is one. So anyway, thanks for watching. Be interested to hear your comments down below on the subject of this video, particularly, you know, the whole YouTube thing, which I've wasted so much time on over the last 5.5 years and so much money. So yeah, very salutary lesson, but we move on and grow, hopefully. Anyway, that's just about it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.